Welcome to Blackboard 101 Tips for Teachers. Almost choked on the first word there. This video is going to be very familiar to you, but it's something we kind of have to cover. Tip 13 is all about Collaborate sessions. I could make a series of videos on Collaborate in its own right, the good things and the bad things. This is just going to be a little basic demonstration of some of the features. Most of them you will know. Go through some of the settings, how to disable microphones, how to disable chat boxes, how to disable that really annoying sound when somebody posts a message in the chat box, things like that. So hopefully not too long a video, but let's jump to the Collaborate class so we can start. Okay, welcome to the Collaborate classroom. This should be a very familiar sight for you. You've seen this 1,000 times. Hopefully you guys are going to send me some information at some point, some questions about things, and I will give you more specific training to address your specific needs. I'm going to share with you just some of my pet hates and some of my tips with Collaborate. I'm not going to go through the basics of this is your microphone, this is your video. I'm pretty sure you know that. I would say the video should be used when you're sharing screen. Blackboard say you shouldn't be using the video because of the bandwidth issue. But if you're presenting a PDF and a PowerPoint or something like this, it's much nicer to see the person talking. So I would say share your video. It's best practice, but it's not policy, so you can choose what you will. You can see at the moment, I'm very sad, I'm very lonely. I am in this class on my own, and I am the moderator. And the first thing I will point you to is this button. I know you're going to laugh now because most of us complain that our students don't talk in class. But the mute all button is there if you need it. If you have individual participants, I can't mute myself, obviously, you can click on the 3 dots and you have a choice to mute them. You also have a choice to kick them out of the session, which is definitely not recommended and definitely not supported by management. Okay, other things then that we should go through. You know what the whiteboard is. A lot of you complain that it's not a particularly good whiteboard. As online whiteboards go, I agree with you. If you have an iPad and a pen and a pencil, it becomes a lot more useful, but the whiteboard is the whiteboard. I have no tips for you. That's how to find it. Share screen, share application. You know what this is. You do sometimes have different options. I'm lucky that I've got 2 screens, so I can share one screen over here, and I can still talk to my class, and I can see both. 2 screens is very useful. If you're in the office and you have an extra computer, I recommend doing that, highly recommend doing that. So I can share screen 1 or screen 2. I can share different applications that I have open. You can see I have iMovie open for this later. And you can see I can open different tabs. You know this, okay? Whichever one you choose looks nice. I don't know why I chose to share this one with you. I always press hide here because nobody really needs to see this. So you can get rid of it. But there you go. You have my other screen. And you have my homework from Blackboard, which I will now close. And close. Okay. Oh, nice colors. Okay. Other options. Share camera is not something I ever use. Share files is something I use on the day-to-day. My advice is to share PDFs, not PowerPoints, mainly because when I make a PowerPoint, it changes my fonts, it messes with the layout. A PDF is a lot more reliable. You can see I already have some saved here from previously. Best practice is actually to delete them afterwards, unless it's something that you use every time, and that's the case. Students have asked me, by the way, make sure you have the pointer activated. There are like 100 times when I'm pointing to things with my cursor, they can't see this one. They can only see the finger one. Or I'm pointing with the pencil, like because I've underlined this, hey, look at this. And now look at this. And I forget to change back to the pencil, so to the pointer. So sharing files, okay, perfect, job done. Polling to ask them questions, it's always good to check they're awake. Breakout groups, I can't demonstrate now because there's nobody in the room to make a group. I find breakout groups hit or miss because the time it takes to set them up, to go to each group, to monitor, to make sure they're working, can be disruptive, but there are some good uses of breakout groups. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you, and the last thing is one of my pet hates. That's why I'm showing you. It's just my chance to complain. In the settings, you have different notification settings. My pet hate is when I'm either watching someone teach or I'm in a PD session and the teacher has this button ticked. So every time there's a message in the chat box, you get that annoying da-ding, 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 da-ding. And I'm the teacher, you know, I'm presenting my topic, I'm talking, and I'm asking the students questions and I'm answering, da-ding, 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 da-ding. I turn that off. I can see the chat box on my screen. I can see the little messages sometimes coming up on the side. I don't need the audio sound to tell me somebody's sending a message because the chat box is open. So if someone joins the class, if someone posts a chat message, if someone puts their hand up, you can see all of that visually. I don't think you need the audio notification, especially not for the chat box, because if you've got a very chatty class, it's just like being in the office with that person that has their WhatsApp messaging going and you're like, oh, would you stop? So turn that one off. That would be my advice. The other setting options I sometimes use, I don't tick this because it's nice if the students have different profile pictures. Tired of looking at those grey faces. If I don't want the students talking, which is kind of never, if I was teaching children, or if I was teaching a big group, or if I was teaching a teacher's PD session when everyone joins and their microphone's turned on and you can hear them, I would tick this so everybody's microphone is off and they cannot turn it on. I would never tick this one because I want them to share video. They don't always share, but you know. I did turn this one off once. I was trying to encourage my students to talk more. We were doing a lot of speaking activities. And I deleted the chat box to try and promote more speaking. So if you want to turn the chat box off, you can. Same, if you're presenting something and you just want them to focus and listen, you can turn the chat box off and then you can turn the chat box on. And the last one, draw on the whiteboard. Our students are not children, they're responsible adults, but occasionally we get somebody like doodling on the whiteboard and you have to delete everything. You can stop them doing that by ticking here. Okay. So those are your basic Collaborate settings. I know some of you want more help with Blackboard Collaborate, and I understand that. send me what you want and I will try to answer it. Best practice about screen sharing, I might make a video in its own right on that one. Anyway, you want me to stop talking? I need to stop talking. So I will see you next time.